Hello and welcome to our discussion about the Yanmar Hunt 24. We'll start with the trailer, which is a custom-built Mackay trailer. It's all aluminium construction and it was purchased by Power Equipment, the Yanmar agents and owners of the boat, for $17,000 from Mackay in Victoria. It's a heavy-duty multi-roller tandem trailer. It has protective side skids and slide-on bunk boards, and it's designed to be a drive-on, drive-off trailer. We tested the waterproof submersible LED lights, all functioning correctly.
All good.
The mudguards are the custom fiberglass accessory pack. The rollers are the heavy duty upgrades. The trailer is registered in Victoria. As you can see, it's got a central keel arrangement, heavy duty springs, oversized axle, hydraulic disc brakes on all four wheels, and the heavy duty 50mm roller assembly.
That's the electric brake actuator working.
This is the brake actuator system, a Carlisle system. Has a spare wheel, jockey wheel, handbrake, and it fits the standard ball. That's the authorization plate. We then went down to the boat. This is the bow, which has a large locker, certainly big enough to get one of your roller winch systems in. Walk around decks. Glass, fiberglass, and the hatches are all in well above average condition. The boat's been kept in storage undercover, and as a demonstrator boat it's been regularly detailed. It's got relax game poles. We'll see a bit more of them later. They've been taken off ready for transport. Two boarding platforms at the back. The ZT350 stern drive, which is rated for 350 diesel horsepower. Engine box has hydraulic rams to lift up, and then there's a series of underfloor hatches, all of which are sealed and watertight. The cabin itself is fully enclosed with an overhead hatch for ventilation. Starboard side, there's an EPIRB behind the helm seat, hydraulic steering, electronic engine controls, an electronic engine management system, radios to port. The EPIRB is a 406 MHz, and the star of the show is the Lowrance HDS-10, which is a high definition colour GPS and sounder combination unit. We'll see that in different guises throughout this video. Inside, the upholstery is in place. There's a cupboard or storeroom to the right which is big enough to put a toilet in, and there is in fact a porta potty comes with it. This is looking around the side decks of the boat. As you can see, the fiberglass is in excellent condition. I didn't see any scrapes or scratches or dents or repairs anywhere. The power plant is the Yanmar 180 horse diesel. It's set well back in the boat, gives plenty of access room for storage. Right down in the bottom right corner there's a deck wash pump and a hydraulic system for the tilt and trim assembly. Big capacity seawater strainer. The blue lever accesses the deck wash, the flushing arrangement. There's a master electrical panel. That's a 1 kilowatt transducer. Under the floor there's mooring line storage and fenders. This is the fiberglass fuel tank, which has a false hatch across it. The central hatch has a floodable wet well. You can pull the green plugs out and simply let water in to make it a live well, or close them off to keep it dry. More storage and a flexible hose for the deck wash pump. All of the deck self-drains to the centre. The rear of the deck is about 40mm higher. There's a secure filling station. This is the saltwater strainer, and you can hear the engine idling. Deck wash flush, master electrical panel. Boat's now at idle and we're in gear and backing out to go onto a sea trial. The engine box would be well suited to putting a cover on and make it a place to sit. It's nice and secure in the corner for fishing with the rails around it. The engine management system gives engine revs, coolant temperature and oil pressure, but it also gives tacho, speed, fuel flow and fuel burn. At idle the boat was doing 4.3 knots at 580 revs. Here we've pushed the revs up to about 1500, which is 6.4 knots. And we motored down the Coomera River to an area where there's a 40 knot speed limit to allow us to get going. From this position, I asked the driver to zoom it up to 20 something knots. It has excellent acceleration from the high torque engine. You can hear the engine back off. It's up on the plane and ripping along very quickly. Lots of thrust from the duo props, and we were doing 21.6 knots then. And the engine management system says we were doing 3,400 revs. Pushing it up a bit more, 24 knots. This is what 24 knots looks like. It seems to be a really comfortable speed for the boat to travel, and fuel economy is a surprising amount for a boat of 24 feet and this volume. Fuel rate was 19.8 to 20 litres per hour at 24 knots. This is the electronic controls with the vessel idling, showing correct oil pressure and coolant temperature. And this is a 0 to 27 knots start. You can hear me ask the driver for 27 knots please from a standing start. It very quickly gets to 27 knots. Acceleration is outstanding. "27 knots is achieved in about 80 metres. This is 27.6 knots with a different overlay onto the Lowrance system. You can see it's about 3,800 revs. Speed was just under 28 knots. The boat is very much enjoying that speed, 28.3 knots now. You can overlay all of the electronic engine data onto the screen, which gives you your speed over the ground, RPM, fuel flow and what's remaining, plus all your temperatures and pressures. It's a really excellent system. Here we are, it's now showing 100% throttle and 31.3 knots. There's a standing start showing the acceleration top left. We started at 4 knots and it's now up to 19, 21, 26, 27, 28, and a top speed at 100% throttle of a bit over 31 knots. The engine management system is now showing 100% throttle, 31 litres per hour at 31 knots, which is outstanding economy. This is what it looks like out the back at 31 knots, which is very brisk indeed.